Okay, my email box has been blowing up with people sending me notes telling me that I need to comment on what's going on Twitter about Fantasia's interview on the Breakfast Club earlier this week. Or I guess it's last week now since we're in the new week. I was like, well, I really tried to not really deal with the celebrity stuff too much, but in this case, what she did and what she said does definitely have to do with interpersonal and romantic relationships and marriages. So I decided that I was going to listen to it. Okay, why did I do that? Oh my God, what century is this chick from? I have some other dirt on her too. I mean, she just, of course, we all know, she was messing with that married man, that Antoine Cook guy, and he's her the baby daddy, and and he was already married and stuff. Okay, so she has a record of not really making sound decisions when it comes to relationships. We would like to think that maybe she has grown up. She's, older now. She's a more mature lady. She has family and everything. So, maybe she has moved past that and she's making some better decisions. I remain doubtful. First, let me play you the clip that we're going to be talking about that I extracted from some website on the internet.
Every month.
Because we need more of that. You know what I mean? We need more men to stand up and lead the way. Most women are trying to be the leader. That's why you can't find a man. You can't be the king in the house. Fall back and be the queen and let your man lead the way. So I salute you for that.
What does that mean? You can't be a leader because a lot of women look at it like, no, I could lead in my household. I could do this in my household. What does that mean?
That's not how it's supposed to be, and that's why we bump heads. And I feel like it's a generational thing. And we can go real deep on that, and I don't need to start that, but it's a generational curse. And how society have placed our men. And women have to stand up and be the mother and the father and the provider. And so then now you are so bad, you can't be told nothing, that when the right man come, you lose him because you're trying to be the man. I was going to say,
Right.
man.
Can we be equal?
Oh, of course. Because at the end of the day, I'm the neck, my man's the head. So he can't make any moves without his wife. You know what I mean? It all works together. But you can't be the head of the house. You got to let the man be the head of the house. But it's a generational thing, and it's what we've been taught. To stand up, be strong, be the, you know what I mean? And a dude come and everything about you is like a man.
Sometimes we have no choice, though.
But that's what I was saying. It's
Right.
a generational thing, and that's what society has. They do that on purpose.
So you think women have to fall back a little for their man? Is that what you think?
You have to learn how to submit. You can still be a queen. Queen plays a part. The king needs his queen. There's certain things that he can't see that we see.
Some people will say the queen is the most valuable piece on the board.
It
Come on,
is.
anybody play chess?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
You
absolutely.
okay.
'Cause
My
the king
husband's
can't
teaching
move
me
like
how
the
to play
queen
chess.
moves.
Yeah, I mean, we work together, but the queen has to sit back and allow her king to be the king.
Now, what about in a situation where a woman makes more money in a relationship?
That's hard because that's when jealousy starts coming in. That's when, you know what I mean? And that goes back to communicating and prayer. Because if a woman, if you're solid, you know who you are, you know what you bring to the table. A lot of times money breaks up relationships. Money is the root of all evil.
Okay, she had so many things in this little clip that just sent me to the moon. Number one is ain't nobody submitting to quote your man. Okay, she wants to be biblical in context and tell women what to do according to this religious text. Well, nowhere in this does it in there say that you submit to your baby daddy, the nignog of the week, the dude that you screwing this week, the dude that you just met last week, the dude that you living with, your boyfriend. None of those people qualify under the biblical scripture. So for her to be promoting this to a demographic of women who are the most single in the world is ridiculous. And a woman is not single because necessarily that she wants to be. A lot of young women want to be married. But what's happening? The men aren't marrying them. The men just want to play games with them, use them, do all the stuff with them, and then toss them aside for the next one. So you trying to get women to submit and do this stuff according to the scripture, but you're not holding men to the same standards. Heifer, sit down some damn where. I don't even want to hear this. The whole thing just made my skin crawl. Okay, so now let me talk about what is submission. Okay, we need to define submission, and this is why I do not agree with it. To me, the whole Bible should be thrown away. But let's just stick to this submission part. Definition of submission. Well, there's a bunch of them. And number one, it's a legal agreement to submit to the decision of arbitrators. Okay, we're not necessarily talking about that one. But here we go. In 1B, an act of submitting something as far as consideration or inspection, and also submitted as such as a manuscript. Okay, so now we move down to number two and number three. And this is where we're talking about for our purposes. The condition of being submissive, humble, or compliant. And point three, an act of submitting to the authority or control of another. So where does that say anything about being a neck and somebody not being able to make a move without you? You have given them power. You're submitted to their authority and control. There's no role here for you. Okay, it's a dictatorship. That's what it is. And people are going to say, well, that's not what it means. Oh, you just need to get your ass a dictionary and figure it out. Okay, because that's the word, that's what the word means. And you can put your own spin on it if you want to, but that's not going to change the definition that the rest of the world is using for submission. You trying to make it be something that's palatable to women, and that's why men come up with all these little side clauses and stuff for this nonsense. Number two, do you know she married this clown after knowing him for 3 weeks? 3 weeks. You know why she married him? Because he prayed for her before she went on a tour. And they were celibate until their wedding night. Well, when you only wait 3 weeks, I should hope so. Okay. Um, I don't know. I don't really see where this relationship makes any sense. Not only that, dude has a felony record of several different arrests. They started when he was 16, brought a gun to school. Okay, so he was put on probation. Then he actually has an assault for domestic violence where he beat up some woman. Okay, so I'm like, why would you choose him of all people to be married to? These things happened. Let me see. Where's my notes here? Okay, here it is. Okay, so 16 years old. He was convicted, placed on probation. 4 years later, he was arrested for assaulting a female twice and again was convicted and sentenced to probation. So see, he still hadn't spent no time behind bars. In 2003, he was convicted of possession of a firearm by a felon. And in 2007, he was convicted of a Schedule 6 drug possession. Okay, so I'm not really sure what the deal is with dude. He said that he got in with the wrong crowd, experimenting with sex, drugs, and alcohol, and at the age of 15, he became a dad. He lacked maturity and strong male guidance. He began walking deeper into deep, dark places and places that robbed him of his education, his childhood, and ultimately his freedom. And he was incarcerated in a facility hundreds of miles from home. In prison, he turned his life around with the help of religion. His son is now 19 years old. Now, when he gets with somebody, now I done told you all about prison, right? Prison is a place where men learn to polish their game. If they want to find a way to get with some gullible, silly woman, that is where they learn how to do it. So he comes out of prison miraculously saved by some kind of religion, right? So he comes out of prison and he goes up to this woman who's always talking about God and Jesus and church and all the stuff, right? Fantasia. She got money. She got fame. Got a nice house for a brother to crash in with his 19-year-old son. All kind of stuff going on. And so magically he drops to his knees and he prays for her. Knowing that she's a church girl, that is easy. That is like she's like a fish not even in water to get on a hook. And all he got to do is run some game on her about romance and love and stuff. And there she is. Now they're married. Um, I just am very suspicious of it. And now for her to be sitting there saying, well, this is why you don't get a man because you're not submitting. Bitch, sit the fuck down. You don't be telling people no bullshit like that after all the crazy examples that you sent, that you have exhibited for your life and the piece of crap man that you married. You don't have the right to tell nobody nothing. Sit down. Sit down. Now, those of you who want to believe in all this submission, I have to ask you why. Why would you put yourself in a position of letting somebody else control you? Now, she, in her perspective, is saying, well, that's what's wrong with, you want to be the leader. You have to let him be the king. If he were truly the king, he would not have, nobody would have to let him do anything. You know why people follow leaders? Because they're so charismatic and they shit is so tight. You can't help but admire them and want to be a part of what they're doing. That's how that exhibits true leadership. You don't have to beat people into it, and you don't have to make them guilt trip them into it, and you don't have to beat them over the head with a old, ancient, raggedy book, and you don't have to pull out stuff like this and try to shame them by saying that that's why they don't have a man. That's some so old-timey, ancient Southern bitch shit, that kind of conversation. I hate it when broads do that. So just tell somebody, well, that's why you don't have a man, and look, I got a man, and I got a man because I submitted. That's the general attitude that she's portraying. I mean, I already didn't like the woman. I don't like how she sings. I don't like how she looks. I don't really like anything about her. So, this puts the icing on the cake. Now I'm really not a fan. So I'm listening to this and all these women, and you go on Twitter, right, where this conversation was taking place, and thousands of black women co-signing on this bullshit. Why would you do that? It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Black women already allow men to run a ragged, supporting them and holding them down and lifting them up and doing stuff. Your baby daddies and these knuckleheads that you be dating. What has all this submitting to and holding down and lifting up got black women? Somebody tell me where it has benefited us as a race of women. I want to hear it because I haven't seen no evidence of it nowhere. All it does is hit but a bunch of women who is beat down, disappearing by the thousands by these men that they let control them. Hundreds of, 100,000 black women missing. Don't nobody know where they are. The police have suspects, their boyfriends, husbands, and estranged boyfriends are on the top of the list. But they can't prove it because there's no body and they don't have any evidence. Okay, so that's one thing that submission has gotten you. You at the bottom. As a group, we're at the bottom. As we have like the most education, that's one thing that we tend to in numbers are excelling at, but the vast majority of black women are so beat down by their relationships and guilt tripped into doing stuff like this woman is advising you to do not listen to her. No black woman should ever submit. No woman should ever submit to a man. If you are with a man and he cannot walk with you right by his side as a partner, he cannot work with you as an equal. He cannot respect your intellect, what you bring to the table, your creativity, your vision, the love that you give to him, the care that you give to him, and the support that you provide to him as his wife. Okay, we're not talking about girlfriend here. Now, you ain't living with him and you're not giving him all this, you living with him, it's your boyfriend, all stuff, don't you dare. He hasn't earned it, he doesn't deserve it. He's not your husband. Okay, now if he should step up and want to be the husband, well, then he can get all that kind of support and stuff, and that's who you save it for, because he's going to put himself in a position where he's going to earn it. But do you submit to him? No. And you tell him that in the beginning. You're not going to control me. We're going to work on this together like partners. We're going to respect each other. We're going to admire each other. We're going to lift each other up. And nobody is going to be running anything. Every decision that's made in this house will be made by both of us. Unless one of us acquiesces to the other, says, well, honey, what do we want for dinner? We should plan a dinner menu for the week for the kids. We can go shopping. We can do this and that. Oh, baby, I don't really care because everything you cook is really good. So, he just he don't want to be necessarily involved in that decision. So he turns that over to you. Okay, then that's fine. That works out. But still, you still work together because you sought his input. You didn't just go rogue making decisions without him. You see what I'm saying? So to me, that's a partnership. She even alluded to that and said, we're partners. Okay, but then heifer, how are you going to be a partner with somebody and you submitting to them at the same time? That is an oxymoron. That does not work, and those things are in complete opposition to each other. If you're submitting, then you're not in a partnership. You're in a dictatorship. One person's running shit. That person that is the one who's being submitted to is the one in power, and the other one is powerless. Talking about she a neck. Psh, please. Get out of here with that nonsense. So anyway, that's what I have to say about this. This is some dumb crap. It's stupid. Don't no woman ever need to submit to a man under any circumstances or under any way. If he cannot look at you in your eye and say you and me is a team, I got you, you got me, and we're gonna make this shit happen. This magic is gonna happen because of both of us, then that's the kind of marriage that you should have. You will feel respected, you will feel loved, you will feel admired, and you will be given to as well as give to him. It is a marriage of partners who see each other both as valuable and neither one is less than the other. Once you start submitting, that means that you're already less. You put yourself as less in comparison to him. And I cannot, under any circumstances, subscribe to that mentality. I'm working too hard to try to get you guys to have confidence in yourself and your abilities and to have pride in yourself to turn around and tell you to let all that go and submit to some knuckleheaded ass man. Don't you dare. Deb Cooper signing out.